Hi, my name is Catherine Harwell, and this is my presentation on Artifact 8, starting with Standard 4.1, which covers ISTE Criterion 12. Dedicate planning time to collaborate with colleagues to create authentic learning experiences that leverage technology. For my Engage Learning project, I had my first grade students become meteorologists by creating their own weather tools, engaging with experts in the field, as well as engaging with other first grade students in a different county. Students posted their videos and their meteorologist videos on our classroom blog, as well as some of them participated in sharing it on the morning announcements. In creating this project, I was able to collaborate with a colleague from my class. You can see our interactions here, where we both gave each other some ideas for their project, which were very similar to one another. We were both teaching our first grade students about weather, and we both had very similar ideas, but also different in some ways. You can see in her exchange with me, she even suggested that we Zoom with our classes so that we can learn from one another. This created authentic learning experiences in the classroom. In this first picture, you can see my students on the green screen at our school preparing to share their meteorologist report on the morning announcements. And on the right, you can see my students analyzing the weather and using the suggestions that Laura from my class gave me. They were writing different questions that they could ask about weather and coming up with their own ideas for how they want to share their weather tools. In Artifact 8, Standard 4.3, ISTE Criterion 4, use collaborative tools to expand students' authentic real-world learning experiences by engaging virtually with experts, teams, and students locally and globally. During this portion of the project, students were able to both Zoom with a class of students in another first grade class in a different county in Georgia. They were able to share their weather tools with the students in that class, as well as ask them questions about their learning experiences. In addition, we also were able to Zoom with Dr. Robin Fox, who is a meteorologist, and she was able to share all of the different weather tools that they use in the professional setting. And students were able to get an idea of different weather tools that they wanted to make for their own project. This was very eye-opening for the students, and they really got an idea for what they wanted to do moving forward. For Standard 4.4, that covers ISTE Criterion 15, demonstrate cultural competency when communicating with students, parents, and colleagues, and interact with them as co-collaborators in student learning. I showed my cultural competency by interacting with parents through Parent Square, which automatically translates a message from my preferred language to their preferred language and vice versa. Here's one example of a message I received from a parent, and it showed to me in English, but you can also look at the original message, which she wrote in Spanish, which is her preferred language. In addition, we also have a first grade weekly newsletter that goes out every week. It goes out in the form of the bottom right picture right here, where parents can click on their grade level that their student is in, and then it pops up with what we're doing for that week. It shows news and reminders, important dates, week at a glance, looking ahead, and our special schedule and emails. Additionally, I have my own class in Parent Square where I can post reminders to parents that also translates to them in their preferred language. And also over here you can see where our school posts newsletters to parents. And lastly, right here, I submit pictures and posts for our school's Facebook to keep in touch with parents so that they can see pictures of what their students are doing and what they're learning. Lastly, Artifact 8 covers Standard 5.2, ISTE Criterion 17, design authentic learning activities that align with content area objectives or standards and use digital tools and resources to maximize active, deep learning. The standards and objectives covered in the Engage Learning project really revolved around weather. The overarching standard was obtain, evaluate, and communicate weather data to identify weather patterns. Students collected, analyzed, and interpreted data using graphs and tables. They asked questions to identify forms of precipitation. They planned and carried out investigations on weather conditions by measuring with weather instruments, and they planned and carried out investigations on the current weather conditions by recording the weather data. Learner objectives I wrote was that Patrick Elementary School first grade students would assume the role of meteorologists by designing weather tools, analyzing data, and producing a virtual weather report. Here are some of the digital tools we used. I found these online. These are where students could track the weather for the day. We did this as a class where we walked outside and tracked the weather for the day. And right here is a sample of what it could have looked like for our weather watcher, things that students did independently. They could put their icon over here for what it looked like, recorded the temperature, and even showed it on the graph. This created authentic learning activities. Right here on the left, you can see again students observing the weather and writing down their observations as well as questions and wonderings that they had. And additionally, you can see the rain gauges being made over here on the right with water bottles that they cut and then put together like this, and then they used a ruler to measure the weather or to measure the rainfall for the 24-hour period.